Okay, so we're going to figure out what's going on with these different views on what you can and can't do. So, first of all, here's from our worksheet. The original namer says you should yavor in these cases. Well, you really figured out it's really by elimination. That down here, you should yehereg in the big three, and you should yavor in all the others. Simple. Has just to do with which sin you're asked to do. So you yavor in almost all cases, you yehereg only in the big three. Next, Rabbi Shmuel disagreed with the first member, but only about Avodah Zarah. He says you should yavor if it is, well, again, you figure it out from the converse. You have to yehereg only if it's parhesia, public. You should yavor, therefore, if it's not parhesia, if it's private or bitsina, right? Yavor in private, yehereg b'parhesia. Next, Rav Dimi, he says that Shatashmad is different, right? You should yehereg in which cases? In Shatashmad, yehereg in all the cases. And Rabin talks about parhesia, and again, in parhesia you should yehereg in all cases. There you go. Um, um, Now, then you can start filling in your chart. First of all, here's a screen with all of it together, and you can kind of look at it and see the pattern. These two are the original Memra. Yavar and almost all, right? Big three. These two are Rabbi Yishmael. And then here, Rav Dimi and ultimately Rabin, right? The important connection being Rabin brings back this category of parhesia that Rabbi Shmuel had raised. Okay, now our chart. Here's our chart. I used bacon just as a random example of something that would be considered mitzvah kala, right? Um, Mitzvah kala, I'm understanding to be just any sin other than the big three, right? Whereas idolatry is the representative, obviously, of the latter category. So the original Memra just makes a distinction between idolatry and everything else. So since you're filling in this chart, if it's idolatry, ye hareg. If it is not idolatry, yavor. Very simple. Okay. None of this shadashmad, parhesia, tzina, none of it matters. It's all about what sin it is. Okay. Rabbi Shmuel, so he really only talks about these two categories, where he says, if for idolatry, bitsina you would sin, and parhesia you would die. These other three categories, I put here in parentheses, saying, seems like if even idolatry, right? It seems like he would agree with the original Memra. For non-big three sins, his only disagreement is about this cat. Whoops. His only disagreement is about this category right here, right? You say when it comes to idolatry, I disagree here, but I agree over here. So he doesn't actually say any of this. I'm kind of assuming that he would otherwise agree with the original Memra. Now, Rav Dimi and Rabin. Remember, they say, oh, in Rav Dimi says, in non-Shadashmad cases, I agree with the original Memra. That means all three of these things must be die. The thing that I disagree about is I extend it and say, in Shadashmad, you have to die even here. I have it. And Rabin also says, I agree with the original Memra. I also agree with Rav Dimi, right? But even if it's not Shatashmad, and we're talking about mitzvah kala. If it's parhesia, you still have to yehereg. So now you can actually see visually what happens here. You have this original memor that's a simple distinction between mitzvah kala up here, avodah zarah down here. Rabbi Shmuel tries to limit it, right? He narrows the range of times when you would have to yehereg. Rav Dimi, on the other hand, goes the opposite direction. He expands it to include Shara Shmad, in mitzvah kala in this case, and Rabin even more to include mitzvah kala in this case. That's the crucial thing to see. Right? Once again, that both Rav Dimi and Rabin start with, oh, I accept the original memor with regard to avodah zarah, but furthermore, you also have to die from mitzvah kala in this or even this situation. Okay, there you go. Now, how do I stop this?